In three numbers, I'm going to prove to you that Donald Trump is the most anti-worker president in American history. First, Ronald Reagan is broadly considered to be the most anti-labor president in history. And this is all because in 1981, he fired 11,000 air traffic controllers just for going on strike. He banned them from future federal employment, and he decertified the union, which then gave the green light to CEOs of major corporations to follow suit, knowing he'd have their back. But Trump has gone further than that, and his attacks will have deeper and more lasting cuts if we don't choose to fight back. The first number, 1 million. That's the number of federal unionized workers who, with a single executive order, lost their collective bargaining rights under Trump. These workers used those collective bargaining rights to protect whistleblowers who spotted abuse at the VA or who discovered corruption within the government. It was all because Trump claimed they were national security concerns, even when current collective bargaining laws already prohibit bargaining when there's a conflict of interest. Really, just like everything else, this is another Trump power grab built on a false premise. It's also the single largest attack on unions in American history, and it's guaranteed to suppress wage growth and lift unemployment nationwide, especially among marginalized people. Which brings me to my second number, 7.2%. That is the current unemployment rate among black workers. It's the highest it's been since October 2021, which you remember was not a good time for any workers. And the reasons are obvious. Trump hates diversity more than he hates vegetables. His attacks on DEI programs have lifted the black unemployment rate from 4.8% under Joe Biden, which in 2023 was at its lowest point since they started tracking it in 1972, to 7.2% today, which is a 50% increase in less than 2 years. And it's not hard to see his ulterior motive, because when you zoom in on the unemployment rate for black college graduates over the age of 25 and you compare them to white non-graduates over 25, the unemployment rate for black college graduates is now suddenly 1.7 points higher than white workers without a college degree. This gap here reverses a long-standing trend. And right now, today, under Donald Trump, the gap in the unemployment rate between black college graduates and white non-graduates is larger than it's ever been since they started measuring in 1992. It's almost like Trump's attack on federal workers and unions is driven by an even deeper desire to harm marginalized people. Now, this last number proves above all else that Trump is the worst president for workers in American history, 18.6%. That is the average tariff rate today, and it is 12 times higher than when Obama left office, and at its highest point since 1933, which historians consider to be the worst year of the Depression. And back then in 1933, it was only 1 point higher than it is today. And this bullshit sword cuts two ways. Because first, his trade war cuts off access to rapidly growing markets like China, India, and Brazil, which limits growth for American businesses and kills job creation. And second, it drives up prices for those same workers who now see slower wage and career growth due to slower overall economic growth, which on top of the nationwide hit to wage growth coming from Trump's attacks on unions, since the wage environment is inextricably linked nationwide, together compound the systemic damage Trump is doing to the working environment and prove without controversy that Donald Trump is the worst president for workers in American history.